What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm Meetup. Hope everyone is having a great Friday. And today we are joined by the team over at Over the Reality. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, good, thanks.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys coming on the show today to talk to me about your project. I love augmented reality stuff. I really do think that augmented reality is more of the future rather than virtual reality. So really excited to hear about your guys' project today. I usually like to start off with an introduction for people watching that might not know you guys personally, how you guys got into the Web3 space, and also, what role you guys play on the Over the Reality team.
Yeah, so thanks. Maybe I'll get started. So my name is Diego Di Tommaso. I'm one of the two co-founders of the project. It was me and Davide Cutini back in 2018 when we started dreaming about this platform. And basically, the way this was born was, of course, from our meeting. I was very deep into crypto since 2014. I fell in the rabbit hole of Bitcoin and so on. And when I met with Davide, that was building some B2B use cases for AR, we decided to scale this up. And we was inspired actually by the central vision of building this VR metaverse. Back then was not called metaverse, of course. But we envisioned to use the same infrastructure made up of NFTs, DAOs, and so on to create this digital layer of augmented reality around the world. So as mentioning, we started dreaming about that in 2018, but in December 2020, we had the official launch. And I mean, it was an amazing trip because back then we was 5 people. Now we are 36 plus people building this platform. I think cannot be more excited about that. I just leave the word to Simone to introduce himself.
Sure. Thank you, Diego. I'm a developer, XR developer in Over the Reality. So I'm involved in creating the application, the mobile application available for Unity and Android, and also to create the SDK that I will show you later in a live demo. SDK is the software that we use. It's a Unity package plugin with whom developers can create experiences inside the Over platform.
Nice. Awesome. So, I mean, you guys have been in the crypto space for a while. I mean, Diego, 2014, that's a good time to get into crypto.
Yeah, never early enough,
Yeah. So, Over the Reality, as you said, is augmented reality application or platform in which it connects real world places with, digital assets and augmented reality, correct?
Exactly. So the vision is really building this platform, this open platform to augment the physical world. So at the level, the way we see our platform, it's a way to connect 3D assets, so general digital 3D information with specific geographic locations. So the way the platform is made up is built of 3 main layers. So at the base, we have the layers are an ownership layer, a mapping layer, and then the builder, so the software to publish the content. So the base layer is this ownership layer. So we break down the world in hexagons of 300 square meters, like the hexagons you see behind me, basically. And so these hexagons are, we like to refer to this like to spatial domains. So in the web, you have a web domain, you decide the content on the web page. In our case, you need to add in reality. So you have geographic coordinates. So that's why we call it spatial domains. And those, of course, are all NFTs. And up to now, we have 30,000 owners of these NFTs, and we sold 860,000 of these locations. If you check the map on the web, it's quite interesting also because you see the hot locations. It's like a wisdom of the crowds on where are the good locations in the world. But coming to the second layer, this mapping layer. So when you do geolocalized augmented reality like us, you have a big barrier to solve. So the easy way to build geolocalized AR is using GPS. And many use cases GPS is fine. For example, Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, you don't need precision, you just need to capture Pokemons. You don't care exactly where you are. But if you want to really edit the physical world, I don't know, you want to put a hat on a statue, you want to have an avatar in front of the door of a shop or whatever, you want to be precise, you need something more than GPS, especially if you do it indoor, because unfortunately, most of our lives are spent indoor. So because of that, we built this system that basically goes beyond GPS to understand where you are and use an optical system. We call it Map to Earn. because basically people can take pictures of a location, and from this location they will generate two things. One is a 3D map of the location, and two, basically we will have some neural networks that are trained to recognize the location. So GPS give us the rough location, and then this optical system allows you to locate assets in space very precisely. This is a community-driven activity, and every time somebody take pictures of a location, map that location, it actually generates an NFT that he owns. So in some way, you could think about this like Google Earth, but based on Web3. So basically, community effort, and I mean, the return from the work, it's yours, because basically you did the job and you generated NFT. And so the third layer I was mentioning that is built on top of the other two is two kind of builders, and Simone later on will showcase you some of those. So one is a web builder, so a low barrier to entry for that. You just drag and drop 3D assets or NFTs that you own, and those will be published in your lands. And then we have a more expressive tool that is a Unity SDK that allows you to actually create also interactive kind of an environment. And also in that case, Simone will show you something. By the way, we are keeping evolving this, and in this month we will also release a new version that will have a node editor, and so will be much more easier to create even complex interactions. And yeah, finally on that, just a little spoiler, by the end of the year we plan also to add a third publisher to even lower the barrier even more. So basically will be a live editor, so people will be able to drag and drop 3D files from the phone, so allowing basically to everybody to edit the physical world. And yeah, that's it at the very high level. Maybe I should just add that also in this metaverse, when you're there, you're not a passive spectator, but you are there with your own avatar. So we create photorealistic avatars from a selfie. We generate a 3D mesh of your face. And also you can customize your body with clothes, NFT clothes, and so on. So there's also this social part that we believe in a lot on the platform side.
Now these assets, like the hoodies, the pants, the shoes, do you guys make all of those in-house, or did you guys reach out to a third-party contractor?
No, yeah, basically for the moment everything is built in-house, but we just opened this program where we released the standard, the body standard, both for female and male, and so creators can actually create their own clothes and sell it on our marketplace or on OpenSea, wherever you like, because at the end of the day, they are NFTs. And so, yes, for the moment we build it, but the idea is to open this to the community right now. We just opened the program. Now we have 30 creators that applied to actually create these clothes, and we will start seeing the first ones in the next month.
Nice. And we're seeing human avatars, but as we know, people in the crypto sphere and the NFT space, they like to, role play as animals. A lot of us are, I have sappy seals, we have bored apes and stuff. Will stuff like that be interoperable in your guys' app?
Well, so for the moment, we just have our own avatar because, of course, in the case of the avatar, we have also all the facial expressions that we stream. We stream the movements of your body, tracking you with a mobile phone. So for your personal avatar, this is not possible at the moment, but you can actually already import NFT assets and characters from other metaverses. Like, for example, we did it with Sandbox. So if you own a Sandbox character, you can not only visualize it in AR, that is the easy part, but you can actually interact with it. So you can control it. You can actually have all the actions that are connected to that character, basically playing with it and so on. So to wrap it up, for the moment, not your character, but other characters. In the future, we will also implement other characters. The point is that for the moment, other than Sandbox and really few others, there's not so many NFTs that can be your character that you can bring out from a metaverse. Actually, I would say that for the moment, probably we have Sandbox and the Centraland, and I don't have any other important metaverse that comes to mind to me that allows you to bring out an NFT as your character and actually bring it to other platforms.
Awesome. So this, you'll be able to, is it just the characters or is it any sandbox asset you have? Like say if I have a house or a sandbox Lamborghini, I'll be able to input that?
Any asset that basically any asset that is represented by an NFT. And so for sandbox assets, we implemented all the controls and so on, because as you know, for example, what we really like about sandbox, that really is in the Web3 philosophy. So those assets are out there. So the NFT contains the 3D file and all the animations and so on. And when we did this integration, the cool thing is that we didn't even ask to Sandbox to do that. We just did it. Then we show it to them. And they say, wow, amazing, guys. Actually, we also did a little competition together. They gave, I think, 1,000 cents to the best shots of a sandbox avatar on over. So so any asset that is represented by an NFT on sandbox will you will be able to use it on over by default. But actually in general, so all NFTs that have the assets connected to it, because actually the problem is that this is not always the case, even if it should be. But every time there is an NFT that also have the link to the 3D asset, we will scrape it automatically. So if you have connected your wallet, you will have it available in the app or in the builder, for example.
Yeah. Awesome. And I did want to ask, I wanted to go back on the land aspect. How many different, you mentioned they were broken up into hexagons. How many different hexagons are there? Is it just as many as there are plots in the world?
Yeah, basically the whole world is on sale. The whole world, but a few locations that we reserved just for marketing reasons. For example, we reserved the Tour Eiffel and we sold it a few months ago. But in general, the whole world is on sale. The total amount of this plot is 1.6 trillion, so it's a huge number. But what we think that are the valuable lands, so the lands that basically people will want to build something on, it's around 100 million. And this number comes out from the locations that are categorized like point of interest on Google Maps, but also on OpenStreetMap, for example, we use as reference. So, of course, the oceans, nobody will buy it, or the deserts and so on. But yeah, I mean, the world is really huge. And really, the way that we see it, it's really like a spatial domain. So, because, I mean, we always talk about land and so on. Yes, this is lands because they're connecting to the land. But I think that the best way to think about these lands are spatial domains. So like a web domain, but with geographic coordinates instead of letters. Yeah. So that's really the idea.
Yeah, and usually, from what I've noticed with other apps like this, the hotspots are usually the stadiums. Everyone loves to go and grab up the sports stadiums because I guess they're thinking like advertisement-wise, that's going to be huge. Did you guys reserve these stadiums for the people that own them in real life, or would they just open up for grabs to anyone that wanted it?
No, not really. Everything is totally open up for grabs. And also this is a point, because very often people say, but can you really sell these locations that are not yours? And at the end of the day, again, I want to come back to the vision that I gave at the beginning. So this is a system to connect 3D information to geographic locations. Yeah. So it's really just a way to reserve the opportunity to connect in our system this 3D data to that location. Then maybe somebody else can build something similar and connect something different. And probably there will be many, systems that will connect 3D assets to locations. But at least this is the way we conceive it in Web3. And I mean, for the moment, I can say that we've been succeeding to be the bigger one, at least in the Web3 space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, you could, whoever owns, I guess, Madison Square Garden, where the New York Knicks play, huge stadium in New York, they could build a whole augmented reality, experience within their stadium and they wouldn't even know.
Exactly. And also another thing that they can do, for example, you can rent out the land. So we just released one month ago the renting smart contracts. And this is very good because it makes the availability of the land much more easier because often people came to me and they told us, I would like to build an experience there. I say, okay, but do you own that land? No, that is already owned. now you should go to talk to the owner and buy from it, and then there gets a lot of friction. So right now, the way it works, if you want to build something in a location, you make a renting offer. If the owner doesn't respond in 3 days, basically you can rent it out for a base price for 1 month. Because this is crypto, and we have 30,000 users. Not all of them will always take attention to the land. So that is the way to make the land available for creators. Yeah. So basically, I would say that right now, almost all of the world is out there to build something over there. And it's very improbable that the owner will say, no, I don't want you to build something, maybe by paying a little fee and so on.
Yeah, because you don't want just people buying land and then parking on it and not building anything.
Exactly.
If somebody does rent something, so say I go out and I rent a stadium for a week, we're hosting a convention. After the renting period is done, what happens to those assets that I built on that land?
Well, basically, it depends on the owner. So basically, and what's your idea about the file? So if you want to retain ownership of the file, you just cancel it before the period ends. Otherwise, by default, the experience would stay linked to that NFT unless the owner cancels it. And so basically, by default, the experience stays there. But of course, the owner will have the power to say, no, I don't want it anymore. I will take it away. Yeah.
Okay. And, now that we're kind of towards the middle of the show, I did want to ask so everyone in chat could hear, how do they start building on here? Is it free to use? What apps do they need? Do they need to have some type of augmented reality eyewear or anything like that?
No, everything is totally free to use. And of course, I didn't mention, but the way you experience this augmented reality metaverse is through mobile phones, because this is the way you can experience AR right now. Of course, we also had some proof of concept with Magic Leap and so on, but the point is that nobody has this hardware. So we've been concentrated right now on the hardware that everybody has in these pockets, and AR is quite good with mobile phones right now. Smartphones are very powerful, and so can deliver interesting experiences. But of course, as soon as smart glasses will be out there, and we expect some important one hit the market in the next year, we will also support those. We are totally agnostic in terms of hardware, and again, the real vision is to build this platform that connects 3D information to location. Then the way you actually stream and experience this augmented reality, we have no any preconcept on that. So it can be an iPhone, can be an Android, can be Google Glass, whatever works, we will support. Whatever works and have adoption, of course.
Yeah. Well, we'll see with I keep hearing rumors that Apple is developing some type of augmented reality eyewear, and I think that'll be huge for the space.
Yeah, we also keep hearing this is long time, but looks like 2023 will be the year. But maybe usually Apple, at least this is my idea, that Apple usually comes out when a technology is mature. And so, like with iPad, they came out it was not the first, kind of device like that. They came out when the technology was mature enough. So who knows if Apple will be the first or not? But for sure, even before Apple, we will see some other devices that are cheap enough and good enough to get some adoption. And again, I didn't mention at the beginning, but the reason why we built this platform that is focused on AR, actually we also support VR, but our focus is AR, is because we really believe that in the future, we will not use mobile phones anymore. We will use smart glasses. Maybe we'll have a mobile phone for computation and so on, but the new way we will interact with information will be AR. And so we are super bullish about it, and super convinced that this is going to happen. At least, I would be very surprised if in the next 5 years we will still go around just staring at the phones. I'm very convinced that we will have also smart glasses, at least also, if not totally substitutes.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you that it's definitely going to be something that a lot of companies are exploring, and I think AR will be the future of what, and glasses that you just walk around and you see different advertisements that people that don't have the glasses, they don't see them, or you see different experiences, or if you're playing Pokemon Go, whatever. I definitely think that's going to be the future for sure. I do want to ask, what are some things, if I was to go in and buy a land, say if I bought where my house is here in Kentucky and I wanted to build an experience, what are some different things that people are building on these plots of land?
Well, I mean, the things that I see more, that I saw more at least, is like works of art. So we have a lot of people that are experiencing with many different works of art. I see many people playing with assets, like for example the sandbox assets. So playing around, kids playing with AR and controlling, I don't know, their dinosaur and so on around. And also we are starting seeing like virtual shops, so people showcasing stuff in these virtual environments that are like AR and VR. And yeah, another thing that I see happening is like meetings with like telepresence. So in our case, I was mentioning you can have avatars, and so you can have in your land, wherever you are, other people and see them in augmented reality and having some kind of interaction. And so lately, we've been seeing also like music performance on that. And by the way, very soon also we will have the music festival also together with the Centraland, very focused on that direction. So these are the main things that we are seeing right now. But it's very, very difficult for us to imagine what will be the use cases that people will do more. Like, for example, another thing that I saw happening a lot, we implemented in the web builder 3 months ago, POAPs, so a POAP distributor. So I'm seeing now every crypto conference I'm going, I see that somebody placed an AR POAP distributor somewhere. Yeah. So it's really, we just added it. We didn't expect people picking up the users so much. So I would say that we are not so bad and not so good in predicting what people are doing, but this is what people are going to do. But this is what we have been observing right now. And if you go in the app, in the map, you will see all the lands. There will be some lands where there's written live. So you can check it out yourself. What are the experiences that people uploaded? Up to now, we have 17,000 of lands that have been augmented with some kind of content.
So from the app, you're able to see people's different experiences around the world just by going on the app. You don't have to be there in person.
Yeah, so basically this is another point. So we have two kind of experiences that you can have that actually in the next month we're going to segment even more. But basically you can have a local and remote experience. So if you are in the location, you will see the augmented reality experience in the location like it's intended to be. But if you are not in the location, you can still have a sneak peek of what is there by projecting that in your space. And of course, it's not the same because usually the experiences are customized for the locations, but at least they give you a sense of what you can see around.
Yeah, awesome. And I did want to ask, we touched on a little bit about the map to earn. I think I was reading on your website, it's kind of a new thing that you guys are doing. And I think you were telling me that anyone can go out and they just take pictures of their location and they get paid. They get paid for doing that. Well, so the point, the getting paid is the thing that we still need to activate. So the idea is like that: is that the way it works, just normal smartphone, so no LiDAR needed, just an RGB camera. Actually, Simone was building that, so we can tell more about that. So it takes pictures, sends the picture to our servers. Our servers crunch the data, produce the point cloud, train the neural network for the relocation. And actually, I think that we just added, also we create a nerve fly-through. I don't know if you saw it. This is neural render. So basically, you have like a virtual drone flying through the location. It's kind of spectacular way to visualize the location also. And so the way it will work so people will map their lands just because they want to have precision over there. So they will do it by themselves. They're not going to be paid by anybody. Yeah. Somebody could have a land far away. Maybe I buy a land in New York, and I can say, look, if somebody mapped that land, I'm available to buy it for $5, $10, or whatever.
And so this is like a commissioning from peer-to-peer commissioning. And then there is the third way that we're gonna, let's say, bootstrap that. So we are gonna take the locations in the world that are the hot locations. So as I was mentioning before, the fact that people bought 860,000 lands, we have a kind of wisdom of the crowds on what are the good locations in the world. So like a heat map on what are the good locations. So we will start incentivizing, so saying we will buy the map if you map that location. So we will start mapping the hot points in the world, and then from there expanding over there. So the earning part depends on if you have a buyer on the other side. So it can be us, it can be somebody that is interested, or it can be yourself that you're just interested in actually leveraging the precise geolocation, and maybe also to have a showcase with a fly-through with the neural rendering.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That clear. I thought it was just, I could go out and just start taking pictures of the street and upload them and earn some tokens. So that leads me into the next thing. I did want to talk about your guys' OVR token. It is an ERC20 utility token. What are some different utilities that come with this token?
Yeah, so basically the main thing that you do with the token, of course, is buying the land. And then all of the economy that is powered inside the platform is mediated by this token. So if you buy digital clothes, it's through this token. If you participate to some kind of hunt or some reward, is through this token. If you need to pay for example, hosting fees, because in the future, when there is an experience that is very heavy, we will actually apply a fee to host it. So right now, everything under 100 megabytes is for free, but in the future also that is something that we will be able to do with the token. And finally, the token will be also a governance means. So we didn't launch yet our DAO because now we're starting to get to a good maturity level, but before this period and before the end of the year, we thought that we was not mature enough to start delegating the governance. But now that we have things like the renting and so on that I was mentioning before, the idea is to give the governance to the token holders and to the landowners. So basically, will be also a voting tool.
What are some things you think will be voted on by the DAO?
Yeah, for example, a thing that we don't want to manage, two things that we think that we should not manage. So one is the way, for example, these renting smart contracts work. Because I was mentioning, for example, we have a base fee that will be paid if somebody doesn't answer in 2 days. So this is right or wrong, that is like that. We think it is right, but maybe the owners of the land think it's different. So it should be good that they and the owners of the token vote about that. Another thing that we don't want to manage and we think is not right, we manage, is, for example, censorship. What if there is an experience that it's against, that violates sensibility of someone? Should we judge it, or should the community judge it? So all of these choices, important choices, should be made by the community. Or another example, the fees that are applied in the marketplace, how much should it be? Should be 5%? Should be 0? Should be 10%? So I would say, again, we are always inspired by what the central is doing in this direction. And so this is also the kind of things that you can choose over there. And other things, for example, if we need to do an integration with another metaverse. So right now, we love Sandbox, and we say, okay, let's try to integrate them. Now we are talking with the central, and we would like to integrate also with them. But maybe there is another metaverse out there that people would love us to work to integrate easily. And so, they also could vote on that direction. So really, now that the platform's starting to really have the core fundamentals that are being already developed, we think that could be a good time to start giving out the governance on what is to be developed next.
Yeah. Okay. And when you do buy stuff on the app, are people able to purchase stuff with other cryptocurrency or with credit card, or is it all through the OVR token?
No, so for the moment, it's everything through the OVR token. If you buy through the app, you can actually buy with credit card, but anyway, you buy tokens on the back end and so on. So And because also this is something that we've been thinking about. So the beginning, when we started writing the white paper, was 2018, and we was thinking actually about allowing also buying with other crypto, but back then we didn't have Uniswap and we didn't have the DEXs and so on. So right now, since the friction in actually having a token instead of another is much more smaller, we decided to just take the over token. So at the beginning, I don't know if it's still in the white paper or not, we was thinking, so if you buy with over tokens, we will have a better price. Otherwise, you can buy with anything else. But at the end of the day, this was not necessary. So what we are thinking about, we are trying to understand if we can implement, is the opportunity to buy directly from the app, the NFTs, without passing through the credit card. So for example, with Apple Pay or directly with a credit card from the Android phones. The point of that is, as you know, there are huge fees from Apple, for example, that takes 30% off. And also it's not so clear if they allow you to do that. Of course, that would be very good in terms of reducing friction. Like, for example, you're using the app, you want to buy an NFT clothes. Yeah. So in this moment, of course, you need to log in with your MetaMask, go in the web view of MetaMask and so on. So it's very complex. So it would be much more powerful also for the creators, because now we are creating the clothes, but we don't want to do this job. We want other people to be able to create and monetize. It will be much more easier for them. They will generate much more sales if people could buy directly from the app. So we are trying to understand with Apple, that doesn't answer, of course, if you ask them, what's the best way to do that. Android is a little bit easier, but this is some of the challenges of people that work with Web3. That, of course, for us, crypto geeks, everything is easy, but if you go to the broader public, you should really work hard to reduce friction with all the limitations that you have from the gatekeepers, so iOS and Android. Yeah,
especially I know Apple is a pain. Just from things I read online, I know Fortnite had like a whole big issue with them taking so much of their fees, and I don't even know if you can play Fortnite on Apple devices anymore. But
that is a good question.
I want to say they took it off. I want to say Epic Games boycotted them because of their fees and stuff. So it'll definitely be interesting to see with all these different apps that are implementing their own tokens and everything, what Apple does in the future moving forward.
At least with NFTs, you have a choice. So you don't really need to buy only through Apple and so on. But still, they own a big access to the market now, so you cannot really ignore them and just say whatever people will buy on MetaMask. It's not really the way it works.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I did want to ask just a little random question. Are there currently any celebrities that you guys are working with, or any of them that have taken interest in the app and plan on building experiences?
Well, I would say that we are working with quite a few important music artists, and I cannot spoil it because we have this big thing with the Central that is going to be announced the next week. But basically, the kind of artists that we're trying to onboard and celebrities are music artists, and the reason for that is quite easy. And again, you was mentioning Fortnite. Fortnite had a concert with Travis and was 28 million people. So if you think about physical events, you cannot even go close to that number. So I don't know, for example, Woodstock was 1 million people. Coachella before COVID, 1.3 million people. So in terms of boosting adoption, we believe that the best kind of celebrity to bring over is music celebrities. And also because of that, we are releasing, actually it's going to be released, I hope, next week, because we're waiting for some certificates. We have a tool where basically people can actually bring their body into the metaverse. So in this case, the performers can bring their body. So we have this console that allows you to connect to a motion tracking suit. So the performer can actually express not only the music, but also all of its body language. And so this will be part of this onboarding of music artists that we have. Anyway, next week we're going to be released the name. So yeah, sorry for not being able to tell you. I would like, I cannot.
No, that's fine. I guess Then I guess I could ask, besides the people that you already have ready to announce, is there a specific musical artist that would be kind of like a dream artist to work with?
Well, I mean, I like, I mean, a lot of different kind of music. I would love to have on board some big old times rock stars like Rolling Stones and so on, but I think that would be very difficult to happen. But yeah, for the rest, I would love to have like David Guetta and so on. So especially DJs, because DJs I think also communicate to the right audience, and so that the right age audience. So I'm maybe a little bit too old, so that's why I think about rock stars. But our target will be DJs. Yeah, so Steve Aoki, David Guetta.
I approve.
So,
I approve, absolutely.
Yeah, and Simone also really approves. I know he loves electronic music. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of DJs in the NFT space, so it's definitely a possibility.
Oh yeah. But I cannot say, but that will be big one. So yeah,
we'll see in a week. We'll see in a week what you guys announce.
Yeah.
Where can if people in the stream are wanting to keep up with your guys' announcements, where should they go?
Oh, we have our Telegram channel where basically we have all the announcements, but also the Twitter is another nice way where maybe Twitter is more crypto. I mean, Telegram was cool 2 years ago. Now it's like boomer channel. So yeah, the Discord and Twitter I think is the best ways they can check it out. Please just go in official channels, check it out from the website, because we know that we are in the Wild West crypto and everybody will want a piece of you. So, but check it out in, or maybe, yes, we can send the links later on. Yeah, this is the best ways. And of course, the website, we have our blog, where we report also all of the news. But yes, the fastest channel, Twitter and Discord.
Nice, awesome. And Digital in chat is wanting to know when we will see Simone's demo. So we can, if you guys want to show off the demo that you want to show, we can do that.
Please. I let the word to our great Simone, and yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Diego. So now we show you a little demo about the tools we have to help you creators develop experience into our platform. So we are mainly two experiences, two platforms, as Diego said. One is the builder. This is like the easiest way for people to start to build experiences on Over. And then we have the SDK. That is a plugin for Unity. So if someone of you is familiar with Unity, it will be like a good point. And there you can do better and improved things. You can add more logic and so on, but we'll see that. So first of all, to access the builder, you have to go on this website, this builder.ovr.ai, and you can log in with your credential. After you log in, you have this view, and from here you can create a new project. You can choose between having a preset, so to have an environment presetted, or you can start from an empty project. We will start from this empty project. Okay. And so here we have a web view with our hexagon bounds. And directional light and Skybox is like the things that you have at the beginning in the scene. And you can add, of course, a lot of different assets. There are some preloaded assets on this builder. So you have other assets like these. There are assets that are chosen by us that maybe can be helpful to create some experiences. We have some architecture kits to also build buildings and so on. We have Rocket, and especially maybe some of you know Sketchfab. You can log in with your Sketchfab account, and then you have like all the models that are on Sketchfab directly that you can search from here, and you can just drag and drop here in the scene. For example, I'm a Pokemon fan, so I write Pikachu, and I drag and drop him here in the scene. Maybe it will be okay. Of course, some model can be like too much scaled up. We can just downscale them, okay, to see them to the correct size. And of course, yes, we can just rotate them and move them around our hexagon, so we can place them wherever we want. And of course, we can connect also your MetaMask account. So if you choose the NFT, you can connect your MetaMask account. Of course, I won't do that now. And you can upload some assets that you have on your computer. So for example, I've pre-uploaded this GLB. You can just drag and drop it here. If you have it on your desktop, you can just drag and drop from desktop to this view, and you can find it here in my assets. So here we have a little panda. It is already scaled in the right way. So we can move it, we can turn it around, so you can face picture. And yeah, so here you can, if the models have animations, you can just choose the animation from here. And if not, of course, they don't have an animation. And there are very few things that you can do here. So it's more for if you want to do an like you want to expose your art. If you're a creator, you want to put your NFTs or you want to build something that is more static, you can use the builder. It's very useful, very easy to use for people that don't know how to program and can even download some assets from Sketchfab. Mm-hmm. And so on. And also for the art world, so Diego will talk about them later. It's easy for people who don't have any background programming knowledges, so they don't have to download nothing, and they just can drag and drop and publish the experience. So animations and static models, and you can also add some like a click to some. You can add colliders to objects, and when you click to this collider, so to this object, you can open an external URL. So this is like the most logic you can add in this editor. Of course, you can add lights, but really still limited. You can add pop, as Diego said before. So you can add ambient light, directional light, spotlight. You can put videos and images. You can add also some audios and pop. Yes, this kind of stuff, just to entry level to create the experience. So after you have like set everything, you can just click on publish in. It will generate the project, so you can give it a name. You can call it demo.
So is that the hexagon that we're looking at? Is that the size of one hexagon land plot?
Yes, this is the size of an hexagon. And actually, so since the world is not like linear, the hexagon have little different shapes, like they're not regular hexagons. Yeah. So this is just a general hexagon, because you can first create the experience and then you can choose the hexagon in which you want to put it. So this is also a little limitation of the builders, that you don't have the perfect bounds of the hexagon, because as I said before, there are little slight differences, but this problem is solved on the SDK, and you will see that later. So here, for example, I can see all the lands that I have in this account. I only have one this land that is set in Miami. So I can choose to publish into this land or to publish into the OVR workspace. The workspace is a section of the app in which creators can test their experiences on the application. So they have all the interactions and everything before publishing it. So if you don't have an hexagon, you can still create your experience and test it on your application. So it will be visible only to you. Yes, and you can test it and check it if it is everything correct. And then you can just take the project and publish it on the land. So for this demo, I will publish on my workspace. Okay, here it will say about a little bit of checks about what you published, because we are working on a mobile platform, so you can upload like a lot of like textures and polygons and so on. So in this case, it's okay. We can publish the scene, and I can it's published now. To be fast, I already published it before. And wait, I will open a video. I will show you a video about how is this experience view from the application. Okay. Yes, here we are. So here I put it just in my workspace, and here is my Pikachu looking at the panda. So here is also a good way to check the size of the assets, because here maybe, okay, you know that hexagon is 300 square meters, but maybe you don't have the right proportions, so how it's big, one thing. We also have some assets here that tells you like that are, for example, a cube of 1 meter. So with that, you can just check about dimensions. But yes, this is a very fast way to publish experience and to just check it, how it is seen. So this is like the easiest way to just enter into our metaverse, to upload something into our metaverse. Now we go back to projects, because from here you can have this URL from which you can download our Unity plugin of SDK. Here we have the 0.0.3, but in the next days we will release the 0.0.5. And so the one I will show you will be the new version. So I will do you a little bit of spoilers.
Yeah.
And so here you can just there's all the guide to download to which Unity version to use and so on. You can just see that later if you want to just put your hands on this platform. I already downloaded it. And another important thing is that here on API keys here of the builder.avr.ai, you can create API keys that are needed to log in onto the SDK. So here we can open our project. This is an empty project in which I have this folder with my project assets, where the assets I put it in my project. And this over folder is the one that is imported with the Unity asset. So as you can see, there is this window, this little window that is in which you can put your access token, and you can log in with that. And you have this view. So the good thing of this SDK is that you can use the power of all the Unity scripts, and more. We added some over scripts that you can use. Of course, you cannot do your own custom scripts, but you can use ours and the one of Unity. But this adds really a lot of logic of whatever you can create onto this platform. And we want to add little by little even more and customized scripts to add more logic to the application, so that developers can use their creativity to create whatever they want. So here in this view, we can see the list of the lands that we have on our account. And the folders is just a group of lands that are all together, because you can create also an experience that doesn't stay only in one land. If you buy 2 lands that are next to each other, you can create an experience that lasts on the 2 lands. So that's also pretty good. And you can choose, if you have folders, you can just tap on folders. And in here, I don't have folders, so you won't see nothing. But here, okay, if you click on the land, okay, here you have, this is, as I said before, the correct hexagon shape of your land. Of course, from here, you just don't know, okay, you know the correct shape, but you don't have particular information. So we add this street view. This is the land that was in Miami, and this between 2nd Avenue and 33rd Avenue, no, street. Okay, I'm not good in calling a street in the US, but yes. So this is the exact location of the hexagon, and if you want, you can also see the satellite version. So this is where is located the hexagon, and gives you also hints about where to put the experiences. So if you want to put it here in front of this house, or if you want to put in front of this building, you know where to put your 3D assets, so it gives you a lot of more information. But we have also something more with Map to Earn. As Diego said, we create different things with all the pictures that people do while doing the mapping of an hexagon of a land. And one of these is a 3D model. And here, if I click on Workspace, I can see all the 3D models I created in all the hexagons. For example, I've done a mapping into this hexagon that is called Question Query Procedural. It is in another part of the world comparing to this one. And actually, this here next to me is in our office. And here I've mapped our office. And as you can see, you can upload it. And with that, you can position objects exactly in the place you want.
Yeah.
because this mapping has two main features. The first one is this one, that you can you know where to place an object. With the map, maybe okay, you can just overall know where to place it. But for example, if there is a statue and you want to put a hat on the statue, with this 3D object, you know where exactly is the statue and you can position the hat correctly. And of course, from the app point of view, you can relocate your position better, so you can improve the GPS location up also 2 centimeters, and the GPS has a meter accuracy. So this is a really great improvement. So here, for example, we can put whatever we want, and if I add this land, of course, you could see also the bounds of the land. Since I'm in the workspace, you don't see any bounds. But something that people can use to just test if their mapping is good, because of course you have to do it correctly, the mapping, to take pictures correctly and so on. There are some guides and some tutorials, of course, how to do the mapping. But if you want to test it, if it was good and the relocation is good, you can just publish an experience with selecting the mapping you've done in the workspace, and you will be relocalized accordingly to that. So for example, even if I don't have the land, if I can put an experience here, and I can show you that later, the demo I did, you can geolocalize it exactly in the place you put it here, but I will show you later. First of all, I will give you an introduction about the main components that we have into our platform. So the aim is to then publish a prefab. So we want to create a prefab that will be drag and dropped here, and it will be published on the land that you selected here. It will be workspace or some other land. And here we have some scripts. The most important is over asset, and we also have a prefab to this. Okay. So over asset is the root of the prefab that we have to upload to our platform. I don't know if you are all familiar with Unity, but okay, Unity, you can add scripts components to objects, and this over asset has already these preloaded components. This over asset, as I said, the main important component that defines the root of an asset, and you can of course upload every content that has to uploaded on the experience has to be under this over asset. And this over asset also always stays in 000 and 000 and 111 transform. So position, rotation, and scale. You can from here set some add some specific light settings. So you can decide if enable the AR light system, so that the AR light system just takes the light, the real environment light from the camera, and applies it on the experience. So developers can decide if you activated it or not. For example, if the experience is an open space experience, maybe they can say, okay, I want to do it. If it is a closed space experience, you don't want to be like use the light of the sun because you have a closed environment and so on. And these are like some custom parameters that you can put only in the SDK, and you can put on the builder. And you can just also decide the occlusion settings, because with iOS and with Android, you have different occlusion settings. Occlusion means that the phone understands where there are physical objects or physical people. For example, human occlusion means only people. iOS leader, so it's only used on leader phones with leader iPhones. Also use mesh occlusion, so it can use meshes to occlude the objects. And Android occlusion is only an environment occlusion that, of course, it doesn't work as well as the iOS leader occlusion, but it's pretty stable too. You can decide to just add different settings if your experience is geolocalized, so your experience, the AR experience just right in the place where it is geolocalized, or if you're viewing it from remote. For example, I want to add only environment occlusion in the lab experience because the experience was meant to be lived live, geolocalized, and I don't want to activate it in the remote experience. So then, in order to, as I told you before, we created some scripts to help people create some experiences with adding more logic. And we have three main, so it is a node approach. I will show you just to save time. Okay, this is the experience I pre-created. If you like Avengers, I put here Iron Man in our office. And it's here because I wanted to put Iron Man here, just to floating over our sofa in the main, like this is the chill area of our office. And from here I can show you this really like easy little experience. It's just, this is the 3D model, just drag and drop. I've imported an OBJ asset in Unity, so all the assets that are okay with Unity, you can import them. So OBJ, FBX, and so on. This is an OBJ. I put some material, some texture, just standard Unity stuff. And I created this cube that actually is formed by a big box collider and this base to just understand and see it where it is. And this will be a trigger to turn on this light. This is a light, and I want to turn on and off just by changing its color. And this is a way to, I will explain to you how to do that. So my idea is that I want to, when I step onto this platform, I want to turn on the light. And when I step out, I want to turn off the light. How we can do that? It's easy. So we have these scripts that are called triggers, and we have 3 of them that can trigger some nodes. So we have the collider trigger, we have the clickable object, so we can add colliders to objects, and when we touch on them, we can trigger some execution of nodes. And we have the UI button, so we can put also some canvas, some UI canvas, and so just clicking on a button will trigger some nodes. And here, for example, okay, here in this cube, I've added a collider, and I added this node, I call it trigger. And which parameters has this node? You have trigger enter nodes. So these are the nodes that are triggered when you enter into this collider. And I choose interact with user camera here. There is this boolean set to true. So whenever my camera enters into this box collider, this trigger enter nodes will be triggered. I can put even several of them. And this one is the one that enter trigger is the one that changes the light color to white, while the exit trigger is the one that changes the light color to black. And you can also add some pre-execution node and post-execution nodes to every node that we have here in our scripts. So you can create a cascade of nodes. So you can, okay, when you enter, you can turn out the lights on, then you can just, I don't know, pop up some sounds to spawn a game object and so on. You can do several things. We have several nodes that you can just like download the SDK and just look at them, because we don't have, of course, time to see all of them. And I will do also a little bit of spoiler, because by the end of the year, we want to release this also, Diego told you before. This is an example of the visual scripting possibility to create like logic in our application. So at the moment, you can only use Node in this way. It is okay. It's not so intuitive, especially for people that are not used to programming this way. But very far more intuitive way, even for people that don't know how to program, it is this, because you can just visually do the same thing that you do with the inspector nodes, but with visual. So you can, it's just similar. If you don't know if you are familiar with Bolt or with Unreal Blueprints, it's just similar. And so you can create logic with this. But for the moment, we don't have them. And so I created this experience in this way. You can also like try it here in the editor. You can import a player controller simulator. Okay, this is a camera. You can place it up. Okay, and for example, if I press on play here, and I move my camera here, you see that the lights turn on. So this is just to simulate it without uploading the experience. You can see if I go inside this box collider, lights turn on, and then when I go out, lights turn off. This is really simple interaction that you can add. And I've of course published also this experience, and I want you to see how it is. So here is the experience live in our office. So here, when I step on this, it will turn off the lights. As you can see, like is perfectly geolocalized where I want it. So that's what I was telling to you. Here, I'm not on my land because yes, I know I own this land, but on another account. So here is the workspace.
Yeah.
And but in the workspace, you can just using localization, you can just place the content wherever you want and see how it works. Of course, if I add the land, that will be the same experience you will have in the land. So that's the idea, to correctly place the content in the right place. And this is something that only with GPS it's impossible to achieve, especially in these closed environments. Yes, it is the very coolest part of Map to Earn. And the very incredible thing is that this is not done by, I don't know, people of other people that are going around to map the world, but it's done by the community. It will be done. This okay, of course, this is done by me, but in general, the idea is that it will be done by the community that will go around the world to map it and to help all the creators to have experiences correct correct in the place in the correct way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I can just see where people can literally purchase like their either their apartment plot of land or their house and just be developing their own AR experiences even within their own homes. Like I initially when we first started talking, I was first thinking just like, you know, bigger picture like stadiums and like these full blown experiences. But yeah, this is going to be really cool for people that just want to mess around and make their own stuff for their friends to see when they come over.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then also you can use POP, for example, for example, if you are you have a shop, you can just buy a land in front of your shop. You can pay people to geolocalize to map the land. You can place content on that. You can place also POP. For example, you can say that if people go there to do even some actions to trigger the POP, they can have, for example, a discount in their shop. So you can you have really infinite possibilities. You can create whatever you want. That's the power of the SDK. And I think it's one of the most important part of our platform, because yes, we are developing the platform. I'm developing the application. I'm focusing on create the base, but I think that creators with all the things that we'll create will be the core of our platform.
Yeah, no, yeah, and it's awesome. And you guys, you know, you have this whole technology where people can just build sitting right there at their computer. And that kind of wanted me bring to the last topic. You guys are doing the AR awards, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Diego, your turn now.
Oh yeah, please, yeah. No. So thanks for coming to this point. Yeah, of course, we also try to, involve the builders community and also to incentivize them. So we just launched our new AR awards. So like it's a competition for the best creators. And this time, usually we did it by ourselves, but this time we partnered with many amazing partners like you guys from Sandstorm, but also Landvolt, Metaud, Metamundo, Pangea DAO, Parcel, and Spaces DAO is part of this competition. And basically, there are 30K that will be distributed in the 10 best creations. And this time we will have a different focus on every iteration of this. So this time the focus is in creating spaces. So we're thinking that we have 4 categories of spaces. We have stores, we have art galleries, we have music rooms like music halls, and showrooms. So anybody that can create, please try it on board on that, test it out. If you can use the builder, use the builder. If you can use the SDK, even better. Maybe you can create something interactive that will impress even more the judges. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what we're building. And actually, I can spoiler the next one. The next one will start on January and will be on digital clothing. So for the moment, it's ambience down, digital clothing. Then maybe we was thinking about working on characters, so to incentivize people also to create characters. And so that's it basically.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's free to enter, correct? Anyone can
absolutely
can
anybody can participate. You just log in, check A awards in our website, and everything is free. You don't need to own the land to publish. So if you own it, good. If you don't own it, you can still publish content. So it's totally free to participate. So it's open to everybody.
Yeah, and the AR awards are going to conclude on January 25th. I was reading, and you guys are going to do.
Yeah, it's going to conclude in December. I don't remember now the exact date. It should be
December 15th, I think.
Yeah, and then there will be, of course, in January there will be the final
the gala awards.
Yeah,
exactly. Is that going to be something that you guys do at an in-person event, or are you guys going to do it through like a web show?
Actually, we're going to do augmented reality, a metaverse voting. So we are now actually building it. So we are going to create an event inside the metaverse with the judges with their avatars over there voting for the best projects. So it will be something also quite cool.
All right. Well, awesome. I think we covered everything. This is been an amazing show. I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you very much. And I appreciate everyone taking their time out on a Friday to watch what we had to talk about. And thank you very much. And everyone have a great weekend. We will see you again on Monday.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.